Greetings and welcome to another Tomorrow's World webcast. My name is Wallace Smith. It's wonderful to have you here and to be here with you. And several people, in fact, some of you probably watching, actually sent me this news item that was recently out and about three-parent babies. Essentially, it was a case where doctors, some scientists and doctors, are finally implementing a kind of cure for a certain disease that, anyway, to implement the cure, you take an egg from, say, a mother, and there's sperm from a father, egg from a mother, but you remove the mitochondria. The mitochondria is just a part of the cell that comes from the mother, and you replace it with the mitochondria from another person, from another woman. So that in a sense, the baby actually has genetic material, because the mitochondria does have genetic material in it, from three people, the mom and the dad, and then the mitochondria, the DNA or the genetic material in the mitochondria, the DNA from this third person. Well, you know, the titles are a little bit sensationalistic, though really it is crossing a line, because you do have this different genetic material, this mix from three people in the same person. But it's not really, in a sense, three parents. In terms of your standard DNA, if you will, sperm and egg that makes a baby, it's father and mother. I still found it interesting, but I have to be honest, it reminded me of an older story that I could not help but convey here on the webcast that I saw on the BBC, titled, "Making Babies Without Eggs May Be Possible, Say Scientists." It's dated actually September 13th, 2016, and I was stunned hearing about the article. All I can do is really read parts of it, because it speaks for itself. It says, scientists say early experiments suggest it may be one day possible to make babies without using eggs. And it means human eggs, like from ladies, from their mothers. It says they have succeeded in creating healthy baby mice by tricking sperm into believing they were fertilizing normal eggs. The findings in Nature Communications, the journal, could in the distant future mean women can be removed from the baby-making process, say the researchers. Now, why is that? Because what they've learned to do is to take just a regular old cell from your body, like skin cells in particular. They have reasons for preferring certain ones. And then it can sort of become an egg, and the sperm can unite with it, and they kind of trick it all into working, and next thing you know, you have a baby growing. And they've done things with these mice, and the baby mice that successfully were born were generally pretty healthy. They've even had babies of their own, so that process has worked in that case. But the point is, because it's not an egg, it's, say, just a skin cell that's being tricked sort of in this process to being like an egg, it doesn't even have to come from a woman. It can come from another man. They state that explicitly in the article. They say, in other words, two men could have a child, with one donating an ordinary cell and the other sperm. So you could have these test tube babies where you have two parents, you have DNA, you have genetic material from two different parents, but both of them are men, and you literally do not have a mother. If we don't think of that as a horror show, as something that is the exact opposite, I mean, it's just the opposite of what nature, what God, the God of nature, had ever intended, then wow, then we've lost a certain foundation, because those things should pop into our mind. It actually gets weirder, believe it or not. It is possible to get weirder in this article. The very next sentence says, or one man could have his own child using his own cells and sperm. Meaning that one of his own skin cells or something could be taken, used as essentially the proxy to an egg, and then united with his own sperm in a test tube. And next thing you know, the baby that's been implanted in some woman is actually just his, where he is mother and father. It says that child would be more like a non-identical twin. It wouldn't be a clone, it would be more like a non-identical twin. That is absolutely horrific. Horrific. You couple this with the news they mentioned that I had heard before, that earlier in China, they point out that scientists had figured out a way to make sperm from stem cells. So they don't even necessarily need to start with sperm now. They can just start with stem cells and make sperm. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the Wild West when it comes to the morality of these things. You know, what is the stereotypical Wild West? You imagine a Western country movie kind of scene, and it's just a lawless land. It's just you and your gun making your own laws. People doing whatever they want. And if you can gun down the other guy first, well, then you're the law of the land. And if someone's faster than you, well, you're in trouble. We're in this amazing lawless place. Now, they talk about laws. They have these guidelines. But they're not really like any kind of laws. We used to talk about this. What's the phrase we used to describe this kind of stuff? We used to call it playing God. And we'd warn people, hey, don't go playing God. I'm sorry, playing God has become a pastime for us now. God warned us about this. He said way back, whenever man was building the Tower of Babel in Genesis chapter 11, he said in Genesis chapter 6 that essentially with man united, there is nothing that we would not really essentially be able to achieve. He said there's nothing that man would propose that he wouldn't be able to do. But with no moral guidelines, with no limits to what we seek to do, we are making a monstrosity of ourselves. I really do fear we're just at the beginning. Thanks for watching. Please check out everything else we have available at tomorrowsworld.org.